Hello, today I am in my personal Canvas account and I've created a sandbox just so that way I have an area to explore some of the different functions. Again, it's free to have an instructor's account, and so I suggest anyone who is or may be using Canvas, and especially if you're not terribly familiar with it, is to go to canvas.instructure.com and create yourself a free account, and that way you can get used to the system before trying to create within a live class. So over on the left in my navigation menu, yours might look slightly different than this depending on what you have active, or it might be in a different order. And I'm going to come over here to quizzes, and when I click on quizzes, it looks just as bare as it is, that as though the only thing that you can do is to add a quiz. And what I strongly suggest, and it might just be a personal preference since I do like the flexibility of having quizzes, using different questions, or maybe only a certain set out of a larger pool. I like to create pools of quiz questions. In order to do that, you have these three dots over on to the right of this blue button. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to say Manage Question Banks. Now, of course, the first thing is that I've not actually even created any question banks yet. So the first thing that I need to do is to add a question bank. Now, you can set this up any way that you want. What I already have in mind is that I'm using a certain book, a textbook, and I might want to create some questions based on a particular chapter of that book. Now, I could create questions that were just completely for that chapter. However, there's different question types in that chapter, and what I want to do is S and C for my author's initials, chapter 4. And then I'm going to say MC because I want to just have a bank of multiple choice questions for chapter 4. So I'm going to name it that. Hit enter, and there is my question bank. So to add some questions to it, I want to click here on the name and add some questions. And you can get some more details, but I'm going to go ahead and add a question. It will be a multiple choice. You can, if this were later on, I might have a bank for the same chapter but using some true or false, or maybe some matching essay questions, things like this. But I'm just going to, this one is specifically going to be for multiple choice questions in this chapter. Alright, so I do actually have a Word document open on this other screen that I have, and I'm just going to simply copy and paste from the publisher's instructor's test bank and put that in there. So I just copied and pasted that question there. Now you can actually change around which ones are the correct answers, possible answers, this sort of thing. So I can pull in some of the answers here. Alright, just copy and paste some stuff. And then I want to make sure that I do select the green arrow on the left to indicate which one is the correct answer. And then I will just update that question. And when you start off, the questions are only worth 1 point in this. Don't worry about that at this point, because when you create quizzes and bring in questions from these pools, you can then set the point numbers if you want them to be different than more than 1 point. You can't change them now, but you can also change them then. And so I can just keep on adding questions to this bank, and then I will select the correct answer and update that question. And so I can just keep on going until I have all of the questions within that test bank that I want. And I can do that for each chapter that I need. For each type of question that I need, I can create another bank. So I would do that with true, false, and so on. Alright. And so that is how you create a question pool in Canvas.